Greetings, friends. Jacque Howard here, and welcome to Trenton 365 Midweek. We're on the road today, so I'm really excited and I'm stoked. We're here in Ewing Township, where I grew up, and home of the Blue Devils, why I'm rocking the blue today. Stay tuned, because we're going to be talking about some things that me and some of my friends are looking to do with the Ewing Township baseball team as well. So we'll talk about that in the near future. But today I'm on location at Ewing Township's municipal complex, and I'm with the mayor, Bert Steinmann. We're going to talk about some very specific things that are happening here in Ewing, but also give you a touch on what's happening in the near future, and most importantly, for you to get involved in the process of building the community that you want. Your tax dollars, your friends, your family, freedoms, education, all those things. It's important to be civically engaged, and that's why we're talking to not only Bert Steinmann, but other mayors in the county and throughout the state to talk about what's going on. What have they done? What do they like to do? How the residents can get involved? And what's the potential like for us as a city, as a state, as a government, as a democracy to move forward? With that being said, Mayor Bert, thank you so much for your time. I've been fortunate enough to spend time with your children growing up here in Ewing, but also seeing your leadership from abroad. So let's get started right away and just talk about you and politics. Like, was it something that caught your attention as a young person? Like, I got to get involved in this system.
Well, what got me involved was our recreational programs, to be honest with you. With my son got of age to start participating in these various leagues that we have, and he was kind of drawn to soccer. So that's basically where I got started. I was teaching him how to play the game, and from that aspect of it, I became coach for the team. And then I was appointed to the Recreation Board here in Ewing Township, and then became chair of that board a little bit later. However, I found at that particular point in time that although I had a nice position and I could share some thoughts on what we would like to do, I was really not in any position where I could actually make a decision and say, okay, we're going to move forward with this. So that's when I decided I was just going to step up and say, oh, you know what, I'm going to run for council. So I ran for council. I was successful running for council, so I could start implementing some of the things that we had talked about, whether it's recreation or in other areas, development and things like that, where I had more input. Okay, and from that point on, it was all about getting involved, getting your things out there that you would like to see happening. And although it was a great seat to have for a period of time, it still really wasn't enough. I still really wasn't making the ultimate decision, right? So at that point, I decided, you know what, I'm going to try to run for mayor. So I ran for mayor in 2006. I was not successful. I lost by about 300 votes. So I continued on as a council person and vowed that would be my last time, that I would be a councilman, because basically I'd been there for a while. And then again, when the new term came up for mayor, I decided, okay, I'm going to give it one more try. I was successful in that try, won by over 3,000 votes, and we are here at this point. I'm going into my 14th year as being mayor. I didn't start out to be a politician, but at the end of my career now, I guess I am a politician.
Well, fantastic. So with that being said, I think that's critical to what our society is made up of. You got involved in something because of a passion that you had for your child.
Right.
You wanted to share an experience that you had with your child and said, hey, I'm going to get involved in this. Got into it and said, hey, I've got some experience and expertise. I'd like to see things get a little bit better. Oh, well, what do I got to do to follow that? What's the protocol? What's the policy, et cetera? And it's led you to being mayor now for 14 years.
Right.
Ewing Township is an interesting municipality because of its proximity to the city of Trenton, the capital, but also where it's located, right? Right along the 95 corridor border, et cetera. Can you talk about the proximity of Ewing and what it's like leading a municipality like this?
Well, Ewing is a diverse municipality, as you well know. We are right on the border of the city and the I-95 corridor, and it gives us opportunity as a community to really build and grow and show what we're made of, okay? And we're going to be a showcase here. So at the end of the day, there is so much that is happening in Ewing Township, not only with the new town center, but with the airport, with the Navy Jet Propulsion Lab. We're going to transition this town into, you know, a destination spot. I mean, people are starting to come to Ewing, but we got to make it better than that. And we have to build a community where not only people want to come to, but want to stay. Okay, you know, we have some apartment complexes where people are transient. Most apartment complex dwellers are that way. But at the end of the day, if you no longer wish to be in rent an apartment, we would like you to at least stay in Ewing and get a home, and build from that, because that builds strong communities. And I think we're on our way in doing that. So.
All right, and speaking about transition, let's talk a bit then about Ewing Town Center. This Ewing Town Center is built on the former General Motors Fisher body plant. As the automotive industry has changed over the years, a lot of these sites have now gone offline. Now they're coming back online through the work of many city planners and urban planners, etc. Can you just update folks on where Ewing Town Center is right now?
Ewing Town Center is on Parkway Avenue. Basically, it's about 5 minutes from 295, I guess it's called now. So we're right there on a major artery that can get you in any direction. We're right on the rail line for SEPTA, which gets you into Philadelphia and south. Unfortunately, not north yet, but we're working on that.
Well, you said yet. You said yet, so I'm going to hang that on there. So New Jersey Transit in Ewing. All right, okay, go back to what you're saying. I'm going to hold you to that.
Right, so anyway, so we're a major hub, basically. So there's one missing piece, and that's this piece that you just alluded to. But we're working on it, and hopefully we'll get some fruition. But at the end of the day, so there's so much opportunity here, and especially Town Center, exactly where it's located. It is literally 10 minutes away from the airport, if that, and the train station. So again, people can go in any direction. So we no longer have people that they reside in Ewing, but work in Philadelphia or working in other areas. And this, because we are centrally located to all these amenities that we have as far as transit is concerned, makes us a very, very likable place to be.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned the airport. I'd like to talk about that a bit as well, because the airport is county owned, meaning all the residents here in Mercer County have a stake in the success of this airport. It's been growing. There's some changes that have been taking place. A new terminal is coming on board, etc. Can you talk about having the airport located in Ewing Township and how that helps you as a mayor?
Okay, so having there's a lot of residual effects and jobs that fall from the airport, not only fueling of planes, but catering for the airplanes. You know, there's a whole host of things that are associated with the airport that people that live in Ewing Township have an opportunity to go ahead and work. And that's been the economic engine. But it's not just for Ewing Township. The airport will be a good economic engine for the region, basically. People try to shy away from bigger airports. They want to go to these hub airports where, you know, I can catch a flight out of Trenton and basically get anywhere I need to get, you know, when I say go to a major hub or like Atlanta or places like that. So there's not anywhere you can come from the Ewing Mercer Airport, basically, and get anywhere in the world that you want. So that's what's so critical about it.
And it's also nice, too. I mean, you spoke about diversity, and to know that Melinda is leading the airport, Mercer County Airport, and being a woman who's in that position shows how forward we are as a community, as a county, for being progressive in our thoughts and stuff. And I want to pivot now and talk about the progressiveness that's happening here. Cannabis, medical marijuana, has been something at the forefront here in the state for many years. And this Mercer County area has a hotbed of talent who are nationally and internationally recognized for cannabis. Can you talk a bit about the processing of Ewing opting in and what the administration was thinking about with opting in, and how's it been going so far?
Well, it's been going fairly well. I mean, we've hit some snags and some road bumps along the way. And I think with the rush of getting cannabis out in the market and getting people online and working on it, I think there's some things that the steps that we've taken were maybe not in the right direction. I thought we're turning that around now to make sure that everything is covered and we know exactly what we're getting into. Because basically, initially, people were looking at just the dollars and cents that would roll in, okay, not about how we're going to get that out. And now we're getting to the point where to make it smooth, to make sure that the licensing is correct the way we approach it, who is involved in getting those licenses. For instance, in Ewing Township, we have a cannabis committee. And then the cannabis committee is made up of a local businessman, a professional, our chief of police, myself, some other individuals, somebody from Drug and Alcohol Alliance is on that. And then we interview people for if they want to locate a facility, whether it's grow or retail or manufacturing. So we interview them. And then if we feel that that is the right fit for Ewing Township, we then say, okay, we will move that to the town council who has to vote for it. So not only do I sign off on it as mayor, but then town council has to sign off on it also. So we do have that process, and it's working better. Before that process was in place, it was just two people saying, okay, you're good to go. No, you're not good to go. And that was my planner and myself. And that was a lot of weight on our shoulders to make the right decision. So we went into the direction of this particular cannabis committee, and it has worked out really well. How we got here is a different story. So basically in 2018, when it started to come about medical marijuana and the sale of medical cannabis, it was just on the forefront. So I was doing a State of Ewing Township address, and I never forget, it was at the West Trenton, at the Trenton Country Club, and we were talking, and as usual, I always talk to, when I do these things, I always talk to my professionals, whether it's the planner, the business administrator. Okay, what are we going to talk about? Let's lay out a speech and we'll do that. My problem is I never stay on script. So we're going on and on and on and on, and just out of the blue, I said, and by the way, I support medical marijuana. I never came up the whole 9 yards, and you'd be surprised what the rush was about when I opened my mouth and saying, hey, I'm in favor of this. My business administrator basically put his head between his knees. My planner's like rolling his eyes, right? It's just, where did that come from? But anyway, ironically, not the same day, I get a call from the governor's office saying, oh, congratulations, I'm glad you're on our side. Now, can you give me a resolution to do this, right? So I was kind of hard pressed to say no. So that's how we basically got into the business of medical marijuana. As it turned out, medical marijuana started, and it wasn't much after that where the recreational part came in. So it was like 1 minute it was this, the next minute we expanded it to recreational marijuana. I think the time from medical to the recreational should have been longer, basically in between. Because basically people would rely on the medical marijuana to get into the business. And then when the recreational came up, there was a softening of that market, and then they only wanted to do the recreational, which I really don't always agree with, but I can understand it. But I think they should have allowed the medical marijuana to basically get a foothold, right, and then do the recreational. Give it some time, but that didn't happen, but we're working through that.
Well, I appreciate your detail on that, and that's something that Black Cannabis and the other organizations we're a part of, we're looking forward to working with you and other municipalities with building out what the cannabis, medical marijuana, industrial hemp industry looks like in the state of New Jersey. Finishing up, Mayor, you imagine you have a captivative audience of a diverse population, multi-generational, et cetera. Make that final pitch for Ewing Township.
Well, when we talked about development of Ewing Township as developers come in, the biggest area at present, what we're lacking in some instances with housing, especially in rehabilitating old homes. It's my job now to go out there and try to find partners with us to help and start rehabilitation of existing homes and or people that are willing to sell, basically, so that we can do demolition of a row of homes or whatever, rebuild it, and give those individuals that gave up at home an opportunity to move back in there. So that's what I'm trying to do, but that requires a lot of money, and it requires a lot of participants to be in it, a lot of partners, including the federal government, to do projects. The city has started to do that. Had I been made aware of where the city was heading, I would have partnered with the city. So because we have developments that are right on the border of the city, as you well know, that could have really benefited if we all just kind of worked it as a group. But I do want to improve the housing stock and, to make sure that the neighborhoods are safe and secure, and that, the kids can go out in the playground and play safe and feel good, about the environment that they're in. But we need to do some tender love and care in those areas, and I'm dedicated to do that, or, committed to do that.
You're welcome, and you can guarantee that Trenton 365 and the other networks that we're a part of can be there supporting you, okay?
I appreciate
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And folks, it's that simple. How do we come together as humans, build a better community for everyone? Trenton 365 Black Cannabis, Mercer County Industrial Hemp, that's what we're doing. The best thing you can do is to reach out to us directly from one of the social media posts or the telephone number or the email address that's scrolling underneath of this video. With that being said, remember, friends, it's always about justice, peace, and humility.